Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back down under the mat. We are here in Madison Square Garage again, around the pool table of relevancy. I am Rowdy Reece, and we have a special guest in the house. We have Penta XL Miedo.
2XL Miedo.
2XL Miedo. Sorry. Zero. Miedo.
Yeah, look, this mask is not quite sitting as way I was hoping it was going to. No, it's the wrong way around. Whatever, you get it. How do you do this on TV every week, Excalibur? Like, how does he commentate?
And like, you look at his mask as well, it's like right down here on his top lip. That looked really bad on the camera. I just realized I was doing this on camera.
Oh, that's
Talking
funny.
about where a mask was, it's fine.
Yeah,
there were
absolutely.
no hands in the air. It's all right.
We're going to put the
Moving
ones
on.
up.
No, we're going to get cancelled.
I'm going to take this mask off. But the point of us putting the mask on was that Reece and I, earlier today, we went down to the Lucha Fantastica event in Canberra.
Little tour that they do around Australia for some lucha wrestling. Very interesting. We've seen it advertised in Canberra a few times in the past, and this was the first time we actually got around to going.
Yeah.
We'll probably make it a regular thing when it comes
And
back,
I think
I'd say.
next time we go, I think we're going to make a choice to go to the adults session.
Yes, we went to the family session.
One. And look, it was great. Lockie had fun. His friends from school and stuff are there.
Yeah.
There was lots
They did a nice
And
like
lots.
limbo competition after.
and lots of kids there.
Lots of kids.
And I think my watch at one point was 107 decibels from the screaming.
Yeah. Take that, WWE.
Yeah.
You got nothing on local
hang on.
professional wrestling in Canberra. He's back.
Okay.
Dan has made an appearance.
Oh, it's much,
Yeah,
much
it was,
more comfortable.
It's good fun today.
Yeah.
How's the rest of life been, mate? It's been a couple of weeks since we've recorded.
Since we've done a show, we've done some quizzes, we've had some games and stuff. Yeah, look, life's been busy.
I was up in Sydney last weekend, so I had some fun.
You did have, what was your weekend away? How many
good.
concerts did you see?
2. Well, one concert, one festival, so maybe festivals count as
But like,
numerous.
you say festival, but it was
It
at
was
the
5 bands.
It was at the Horden Pavilion. It was indoors.
5
like,
bands.
that's not really a festival.
I mean, kind of
Look,
is.
if I think of a festival, especially a
Outdoors.
music festival, it's outdoors.
Yeah, fair.
Either way, glad that you had a fun weekend away.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, I can't even remember what I did last weekend.
Nothing,
What did
apparently.
I do?
I don't know.
I'm sure I did something.
Netball?
No, that was a school thing. We had a netball gala during the week.
I don't know. Let's crack into talking
Whatever.
about wrestling, shall we?
We've watched a lot of wrestling.
We have. We watched a lot of wrestling today.
Yeah. Well, what are we gonna? What's the first topic? Actually, let's go back a couple of weeks because, like we said, we haven't recorded for a while, and there's been some cuts.
Yeah, there was
some releases,
which is kind of ironic because we released a keep or cut episode up on our YouTube. So
that was very well timed.
weird
Or very
timing for
poorly
that
timed.
one. So go check it out. It's interesting. We got some very good choices there. We had a list of 9 men and women to keep or cut. Go check it out.
I think we were pretty similar in our choices.
Very similar. A couple of different choices, but
Mine was better.
here we go, Dan.
Look, if
Taking
you go
the
onto
high
our
road again.
TikTok
What?
and you have a look at one
Oh,
of the previous
whatever,
drafts that
don't
we
care.
did, where it was about who drafted the best women's wrestlers, this guy.
We've had one comment saying that you want.
Doesn't matter. It's one
Is that
more
all-
comment
is that
than
all
you
you
got.
need?
It's all 100%. Out of 100% of the comments, they say that I am the best. So
Righto. Yes, we've got some releases that have happened recently. Just swiftly move on from that. Baron Corbin, Indy Hartwell, and Tegan Knox are no longer with the WWE.
yes,
Tegan Knox, it's a shame, but also I feel like she's been very injury prone lately.
yeah. And when they tried to give her that push when she was with Natty and versus Natty and stuff,
That
it just
did not
kind of
work well.
It didn't go anywhere
At all. No.
So that one, look, it wasn't a huge surprise. We'll talk about Baron last for your sake.
Yeah.
I think Indy was a shock. The fact that
Oh, absolutely. The fact that she was just on TV. And then
she was on TV after she was released.
yeah. She's just on TV. She's been involved in angles. And then because they taped the Saudi show, what was the one just before
They
Saudi?
take the SmackDown before Saudi.
Yeah. She was on that and then was released that morning.
Yeah.
Well, for us, she was released on the Saturday morning and then SmackDown aired like 4 hours later.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh. But she's come out with some positive stuff. Like, I think that's a lot of things these wrestlers do these days as well. They take it kind of in their stride because
Yeah.
while WWE is kind of like don't want to tread on any toes, but it's the pinnacle of professional wrestling.
I mean,
If you
no
get-
argument here.
If you get there and then you're all of a sudden not there anymore, but you just look at all the other people and the success that they've been having on the indies, in other promotions, in AEW and all that sort of stuff, like, even though that's your dream and that's where you got to, there's still opportunity elsewhere.
Yeah.
So
I think Indy's one of the kind of wrestlers that she could make it back. She's still very young. Yeah. She's still really talented.
yeah, absolutely.
I don't really want to see her go to AEW. I think there's that.
I think she'd be better suited for TNA.
Or just stick to the Indies. Do what Trevor Lee does. Do what Matt Cardona does.
It's in the name.
The Indy Hartwell. Yeah, that's a good point. Could she keep that name?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know if it's a WWE branded name. We'll have to wait for 90 days till her non-compete clause finishes and then find out. But yeah, I reckon her, opportunities are probably going to be better in the Indies and maybe, like you said, TNA than AEW.
Yeah.
Same as I think someone like Baron Corbin. I think Tom, whatever his real name is.
Tom Pestock.
Tom Pestock.
I've seen an article that he's already in AEW.
Why?
Like already. Like it's been a couple of weeks.
We said the same thing about Dijak, right?
Yeah.
When Dijak was released, we were like, why is he gone? But he would suit AEW perfectly. He hasn't gone there yet.
He hasn't even appeared there.
He's had chats to them. But, we all kind of thought that was a really horrible decision. And really, WWE hasn't lost a step since they got rid of him.
And,
And he's been good on the indies. He's done stuff, in local shows and stuff around
He's been booked to
America.
face Matt Riddle at Eric Bischoff's MLW. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a pretty interesting matchup.
And I think that's the role the Baron could fit.
Yeah.
Is do those indies, be that vet guy, have those matches and stuff.
do the Matt Cardona.
Yeah.
We say it time and time again when people get released from WWE. Do a Matt Cardona.
Because look, let's be honest. You and I both have probably dropped watching AEW a little bit more than we should. We try and watch the highlights and matches.
It's been rough last couple of weeks. So
Ricochet was the big name that left WWE. He was a huge signing. He goes straight into this feud with Will Ospreay. He was on Rampage this week in a match against Dante Martin because the
the match.
And-
Add another W to the column.
yeah, and I'm not saying that Ricochet's bad. That's not what we're saying here. Is that we've always said AEW is so flooded with people that there is so many good wrestlers and so many good storylines, arguably good storylines.
I think that's part of the problem as well. The way that AEW do their storylines, it's very boom, done. Let's do a 6-week program. Move on.
Yeah, it's a program to get to a match and then finish.
You get there, you have the match, you're done, you move on, unless there's something that happens.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the thing. I mean, I know Ricochet is over in New Japan. He took out someone on New Japan for one of the, I think it's the...
You're really going to dog Zack Sabre Jr. like that?
It was TMDK's own Zack Sabre Jr. I thought he took out somebody else on a different show as well. But anyway,
Look, it took me a second to remember.
he's going around, globally and doing things. That's fine. But I think in terms of on AEW,
They're teeing that up, Ricochet versus Zack Sabre Jr. for Wrestle Dream, not Wrestle Kingdom.
yeah, because they're always back-to-back shows, right?
Yeah,
and same as-
that's the January 5th one,
yes,
right?
and that's when Kenny Omega,
Yeah.
which is another thing we'll talk about later, or we can talk about now.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega slated to return on that show, and he's chosen to return on New Japan rather than AEW.
Yeah.
And then he got attacked by Gabe Kidd. So he's going to have a match in there, which hopefully then leads to a bit of him coming back to AEW, then him probably getting the Bucks and...
Yeah, it's going to be interesting now
Getting
the
them
Bucks
back
lost their
in.
titles. 'Cause I
Yeah.
feel that absolutely ruined our theory for what was going to happen there.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I
Because
didn't think
we
Private
figured
Party
they would be
gonna
on top until Kenny came back and then
Then you're
wrangled
gonna
up some
have
other
the feud.
people, and that's where you clear out Okada, you clear out the Bucks, and then
But look, Moxley's in charge now. So.
he's in charge.
Well, he's writing the segments, is what the rumor on the streets is that Moxley's got creative control over this angle.
I think it's possibly a good thing because I like how this story's panning out so far. I don't necessarily like who's involved against Moxley. I'm just going to say it. I don't give a shit about Darby Allin.
It's not Darby Allin, it's Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, but like he got involved this week on Dynamite.
And Mark Briscoe.
And I don't. And Darby doing the Sting mask thing again. Like, oh, brother.
this is what I'm saying. We're saying with AEW with their good storylines, right? They've got lots of great talent. Sometimes it just doesn't. You get all your pieces together, you just can't build a good team.
Yeah,
sometimes, and I think
sometimes the puzzle piece is in the wrong place.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem. I mean, there's lots of good things happening on AEW. Let's not completely crap on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what we're talking about now. Let's talk about Ospreay and Fletcher. That feud for the last couple of weeks. Fletcher shaving his head.
This is going to be
stuff.
good.
This is a big match.
Like their match in Ospreay's first couple of weeks as an AEW superstar.
Mm-hmm. 5 stars.
5 stars.
On Dynamite.
We're going to get better than that at Full Gear for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really what I really like about this is now that Kyle Fletcher's pushed Mark Davis aside, gotten rid of Ospreay, this is really going to elevate him.
Yes, it's about Kyle.
And you just like, as soon as he shaved that head, I was just like, that's fucking 09 Randy Orton.
Oh, yeah, okay. I can see it.
And I saw it, I was just like, that's a star right there.
Yeah.
You build him up. I really hope that he beats Ospreay because I feel like that's probably the most beneficial outcome from this.
I think so.
With Kyle Fletcher doing that, he looks like a singles competitor now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think getting a notch on his belt against Will Ospreay, that caliber of match it's going to shoot him to the stars.
Yeah, I think so too. And the comp to that I believe is in WWE right now is Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
Is that Bronson...
they just pushed him to the moon.
But you build...
the moon!
But what you need to do with that is obviously you build them so that they are strong in a win and strong in a loss. Yeah. And the way that WWE did that with Seth beating Bronson at Crown Jewel made him look strong. What's happened on TV since then, which we'll talk about later, has made him look strong.
Yeah.
With Fletcher, the way that he has turned on Ospreay, the way he has handled the family, the way he shaved his head, these promos he's cut, has made him look strong. The match, that's the one thing AEW has to do now. It's that match that he comes out of. We know it's going to be great. Like you said, it's going to be 5 stars.
Absolutely.
It's going to be flips everywhere. There's going to be pile drivers left, right, and center. There's going to be teasers of the Tiger Driver. There's going to be Canadian Destroyers. Yeah. All that's going to happen as long as that match makes him look like a star. They're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you need, and it's great for us that both Fletcher and Bronson are both Aussies.
Love that.
Like that's really awesome. Like you look at, I mean, you've got those two. You've got Rhea. You've got Toni Storm when she decides to come back to AEW too. Australia's...
Oh, she's been off filming movies and starring in movies. She's fine.
Yeah, no, Australia's crushing it overseas. But I think that is a very exciting match and hopefully a star-making match for Fletcher.
Yeah. Speaking of stars, Bobby Lashley is All Elite. We have not covered his debut.
The Hurt Syndicate.
Hurt Business is back. They're back in business.
With a terrible theme song. And we can't even blame Def Rebel.
Can't blame Def. Damn it. Who do we blame?
We were like, oh, this song sucks.
Oh, it's just like, we hurt people. I can't even remember how the tone goes, but I was just like...
The beat was fine. It was like, we hurt people. We hurt them. We hurt people. You're like...
that ain't it, man.
Yeah. MVP, you can do better.
But he's here. Absolutely obliterated Swerve Strickland on Dynamite this week.
I don't think he's said a word yet either, has he? Even in the backstage
no,
stuff,
I don't think so.
MVP talking and Shelton.
Doesn't need to. To be fair, I think MVP talking is probably the right call.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's kind of like the Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar situation where can speak on the mic, but if you got someone who can do it better,
just let him do it.
Just let him speak for him.
Yep. No, I agree.
It's that easy. But yeah, that's obviously, I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but
it has.
It has. Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley, Full Gear.
Full Gear.
This is shaping up to be a pretty stacked card. I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say stacked.
I think those two matches are pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on fucking Orange Cassidy and John Moxley. Look, they'll have a good match. I'm just, yeah.
You just don't care?
It's like they're kind of pushing Darby and Orange Cassidy to be like the face of AEW at the moment. Yeah. And it's just like, it's not that convincing.
But what about...
It's not that exciting.
The Fatal 4-Way tag match with Private Party against the Outrunners and the House of Black and someone else. The Outrunners.
The Outrunners?
Yeah. Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Turbo...
No, speaking of...
Guys! They're gonna be on pay-per-view.
Ooh, yeah! I should just start doing Macho Man, Randy Savage impression.
I mean, yeah, you should actually. Yeah.
No, I said them.
No, you should though.
Oh.
Get the wig.
Yeah, right.
Get the straps on your mad big guns.
Put them around my traps.
What else do we have from AEW to talk about? Do we have anything else to talk about?
No, I don't think.
There wasn't really all that much.
There wasn't a huge amount that piqued our interest.
Because the other thing I think that should pique our interest is MJF.
And
I
Adam
don't
Cole.
care.
But yeah, no, especially since Adam Cole lost against Konosuke Takeshita, which was to get his match against MJF at Full Gear.
And I think the thing that I don't like about all of this was that Adam Cole just came back from injury and was like, oh, yeah, so you know that whole devil story? Like, don't worry about it, everyone. It's fine.
they just sweeped it under the rug, like so unprofessionally. It was so bad.
And then like him and Roddy are then just like,
and then they're just back together, and then all of a sudden Undisputed Kingdom's face after just being heels. Like it was like Adam Cole returned, and then we got to switch him. It just wasn't convincing
because everybody wants to do the boom.
Boom. Can we talk about how bad his tan is though? He literally looks like a carrot.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Looks like he's got jaundice. Like people are ragging on Pete Dunne.
Oh, Pete Dunne's is pretty bad too.
Yeah, but Adam Cole's looks worse. Pete Dunne just looks like he's got a bit of colour.
Yeah, but see, Pete Dunne I think looks okay because he wears the singlet and he sort of covers it all. Adam Cole with just the little trunks and the no knee pads
makes him look right.
Just makes him look real bad.
It doesn't look right. One thing we didn't touch on shortly before, with the releases going on at the moment, we had a contract expire.
We have.
Speedball Mike Bailey. And his TNA contract has expired.
Yep.
It's done and dusted. He just recently lost the X Division Championship to my boy Moose.
Oh, yeah, big Moose. Moose is not a character I would see in the X Division, but sure. If that's what you want to do.
Look, Lashley's held it. Kevin Nash has held it. I don't feel... I get that it's X Division, but I feel like it's just a mid-card title.
It is,
That's all
but the way that TNA had it in the it
was kind of like their cruiserweight sort of thing.
It was, and their extreme division, like with all the X Division matches with like the X above the ring, all the stuff that AJ Styles used to do. I can't picture Moose or Kevin Nash hitting a moonsault off the top of a cage to win a title. Like, come on.
You mentioned that. There's been a video going around on social media at the moment from when Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley were with Kevin Nash, like back in the early TNA days.
Yeah.
Trying to train him to do new moves, and it's
I've seen this.
He just goes up and does this like big overarm clobber.
Yeah,
just like trying to do new moves, and like don't. Need to
he's
do
like,
this.
let's teach them how to do a Canadian Destroyer, and he's like, clothesline.
That's so funny. Moving on to
before we haven't really spoke about Mike Bailey. Where are we shooting? Where do we go to AEW?
Look, I feel like it's maybe a little bit of an obvious thing that he goes to AEW. I don't know.
See my point 3.5 minutes ago about Ricochet. I don't want Mike Bailey to go.
Yeah, I get you. But like, I don't know if that's really what WWE wants right now. I don't know.
Chuck him in NXT, man.
Yeah, I know that.
Javon Evans and him would put on a burner of a match.
True. I don't really know. Like, can he cut a good promo? Is he good on mic?
Oh, I don't know if I've ever seen his mic
his name's Mike. Is he good on the mic?
No, probably not. I've only ever watched his matches, to be fair. Like
to be fair, they're absolutely stellar.
The 5-star with Ospreay, a lot of the stuff he did with Josh Alexander, all the things he's done in TNA have been great matches.
Yeah.
So I think 100% if you just want a worker and someone to come in and look real good, NXT could take him. But he's probably going to AEW.
Yeah.
I don't want him to.
Nah. Speaking of NXT, that women's division lately has been absolutely outstanding.
It has.
We had Zarya debut a few weeks back, she's Aussie. Absolutely love it.
Girl Delta.
She's come out so strong and been portrayed as such. Yeah. I'm absolutely loving it. We've got the Deadline pay-per-view coming up with the Iron Survivor challenges. She's going to be in it.
Is she?
Yep.
She qualified?
No, she announced on NXT this week that she's going to, but they've only just started the qualifying matches. Sol Ruka's already got through.
Okay.
On the men's side, we had Wesley qualify.
Yep.
And Javon Evans. Okay. So you know that match, like just having those two in it already, that men's Iron Survivor match is going to be amazing. Yep. We had I think it was last week before, we had the 10-woman tag match, which was phenomenal. Having that much talent in the ring at once.
And
NXT.
The fact that Zarya got the pin too.
On the NXT Women's Champion.
Roxy,
so I'd say, like, given that, I think Zarya runs through in the Iron Survivor challenge. She challenges Roxanne next.
But look, from our perspective, all for that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Can't wait. Super fuck. Go Delta.
Stephanie Vaquer and Julia are also going to be in the Iron Survivor qualifying matches.
Yeah.
So I'd say just put all three of them straight in.
Yeah, but my issue to this is that we know how good Delta is, right? Because we know Australian wrestling. A lot of people in the US and Japan and wherever where they've seen the likes of Stephanie Vaquer and proper like New Japan type wrestling and Stardom and things. They've seen Julia and all that sort of stuff. And then this chick from Australia jumps over the top of two of the greatest women's wrestlers at the moment right now to go for the title. We can justify it. And I think if WWE wants to tell that story, then great. But I think you kind of book yourself into a war when you've got Julia, you've got Stephanie, you've got Roxanne, you've got Cora, you've got Zarya.
Who do you make that pick to go after Roxanne and dethrone her? Like, there's almost too many possibilities with NXT.
I almost feel like it has to be none of them. I wouldn't
be mad at that.
They have to fight each other around, and like Sol Ruka comes and takes it, right? And then
Jordan Grace is rumored to be imminently coming into NXT next year.
Yeah. I also think Jordan Grace could just go straight to the main event.
Oh, she absolutely could. I don't think she needs to go through NXT at all.
Yeah. I think it's cool that they're putting her through it because I feel like the relationship with WWE and TNA is NXT and TNA. Yeah. So you can't put Jordan Grace in the War Games match because, you need a fifth woman. Yeah. I don't think they can do that. But NXT, if you need a fifth person for the Iron Survivor match, you throw Jordan Grace in there. Yeah. But yeah, look, I'm loving the quality of the women down there. The work down there is fantastic. There's so many stars. Surely a couple of them are going to come up next year. Surely a couple of them will pop up in the Royal Rumble. Someone might even get a run towards WrestleMania for a match with Charlotte or something along those lines. But I feel it's really, HBK's in a difficult spot, but a great spot where he has to choose between someone like Zarya, Stephanie, and Julia all at the same time.
And look, all of those choices, I feel like the one that will get the most backlash is probably Zarya because people are so behind Stephanie and Julia.
Yeah.
And people hadn't really heard much of Zarya before she got to NXT, other than our ramblings, if you watch our podcast that often. Mm-hmm. And then, so I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how that all unfolds. Yeah. I'm very keen for that Iron Survivor Challenge women's match. But
anything else happen on NXT around Trick and Ethan? They've kind of spun the wheels a little bit. It's been fine.
It's not Ethan anymore. It's Ridge.
Oh, that's right. Ridge and Chase You, and if he beats him, he's going to drop out and Chase You. Which is not going to happen. So Andre Chase is going to have a match.
I kind of zoned out in that. I wasn't interested in the slightest. I'm sorry.
Well, like my major issue to that is if you get rid of Chase You, which is the stipulation, I think that like the Duke Hudson is nothing without it, unfortunately. Same as the girl.
All of them, to be honest. Riley's really good in the ring. Like, he could put him with...
So is Duke. They're all good, but like none of them have a gimmick as soon as it disappears.
Yeah,
so if you get rid of Chase You, they all fall to nothing and go into obscurity until they get repackaged and come back in 6 months. Yeah. So if that's the plan, fine. If that's not the plan, then Andre Chase has to win.
And then who cares about Trick and Andre Chase? Like,
it'll be a fun match, but... So what? I mean, that might just be the tidy through for Trick to get another victory on a pay-per-view and move to the next one.
Not vibing it, man. Not vibing it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You mentioned War Games and Jordan Grace. Let's move on to the women's War Games match, which I think there are Raw spoilers, but we will not be talking about them.
What do you mean?
We would know what has happened because Raw has been taped for next week.
Hasn't it?
But we will not be talking about it.
We won't talk about it at all. We won't talk about anything that happens on Raw this week.
No, we won't. We won't. So it was the last segment of Raw, right? The women's tag title match. I'm not just imagining things.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay. So Bianca and Jade come out on top against Liv and Raquel with interference from Nia was there, Tiffy was there, Naomi was there, Io was there, which I thought was kind of weird, but then I remembered she's got next at Liv. And it really feels like WWE has rushed to figure out what the hell to do for this women's War Games match because looking at that, it just theoretically doesn't really gel. Why would Liv and Raquel team with Nia and Tiffy when mere weeks ago they were against each other at Crown Jewel? Yep. I can understand Naomi going with Bianca and Jade because...
Yep. Wakanda forever.
Wasn't going to say it.
They do it every week.
Yeah, I know, but like they call it something else.
I know, continue.
Io kind of slotting in there is a little weird because, like, as you mentioned, Io's history with Bayley and Naomi's close to Bayley. It's kind of like I get Io's face now, but it just kind of like there's history there that you shouldn't really forget about.
Bianca hates damage control too.
Yeah, it's just
So look, there's a lot of issues. That's one, right? Is that Io doesn't quite fit into this. The other part of this is that obviously we're going to go 5-on-5, so we need an extra person for each team. Who's that going to be?
If you didn't catch the hint,
we don't know who the fifth person will be, but let's just assume somebody shows up on Raw this week.
Yeah.
That was previously injured.
Yeah.
And then maybe comes back and gets involved in the match. But then who's on the other side?
Yeah, who's on the Smack? That was going to be my comment. Who's on the SmackDown side? What do you do?
Well, I mean, to counter if that person came back from injury.
Liv's already in the team.
So it's probably like a Candice LeRae or something, but because she's been helping out Tiffy and stuff.
That actually checks out with what happened on SmackDown because
she came out and helped.
Nia retained against Naomi on SmackDown. I wasn't really excited for that match, but I actually think that was a pretty good match. That was a good match. Props to Naomi and Nia, two superstars that usually don't care about their matches, but you've impressed me. Congratulations.
My issue.
Yeah. Candice being looped in after what happened after that match makes sense.
It does. It does make sense. We pitched weeks ago on this pod to have an NXT
excellent idea.
NXT versus the main roster sort of War Games match. Would make way more sense than them rushing into this. Yeah. The other problem that I have with this match, right? Let's assume we have the 5 faces with Jade, Bianca, Io, Naomi, and possibly a returning superstar that we won't name. That would be a spoiler for Raw. That's a superstar team, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
You really can't touch that team, right?
But then you look at the SmackDown team.
And you've got the women's champion and the WWE champion and Miss Money in the Bank and
Raquel,
who's
and Candice
back
maybe
in the thing. But if you do this match, who's losing? Bianca and Jade, two of the strongest women that you're pushing for everything, and possibly.
I think the faces have to win,
right? But then you're saying that the women's champion and the WWE champion can't win a match. How can you bury your 2 women's champions in a War Games match to lose? Sure.
Unless you sow the seeds of dissension amongst them.
Doesn't matter. You can't have both of your women's champions lose.
You can't have your prestigious women's tag team champions lose.
Then don't book the goddamn match.
Yeah, they backed themselves into a corner.
This is like, look, it will be a great sport. I cannot wait to see Io Sky jump off the top of the cage in a bloody trash can again because she does it every time she's in War Games.
It's great. It's a great spot.
It's a fantastic spot. Please do it. But I don't see the logic behind this match.
No.
Because someone loses, and someone loses bad.
Yeah.
Either you've got someone like Smea Smipley and returning for this whole feud, and Bianca and Jade losing, or your 2 women's champions are losing in a War Games match.
Yeah.
You can't win. I don't see a clean way of booking out of this.
No.
So don't do the match and make it an NXT versus main card match.
Yeah. Much better idea.
Yeah. Yeah. We told you, Triple H. Listen to us.
Just pay for some subscribers for us.
Yeah, please. Well, I mean, bloody Sheamus just hit 1 million subscribers on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, he did.
Congrats, Shamo. Can you just flick a few of them over our way? We'll take 100,000 of them. Well, only 10%.
Oh, mate, I'd take 10,000.
10,000? Sure, whatever.
Mate, I'd take 1,000.
All of them. Just give us the million.
All of them.
Just Control V, Control C, Control V, copy them all onto our channel, and then Shamo, you can teach them how to go to the gym, and we'll teach them how to open up packs of cards and hold them up to the camera. So we're not spoiling Raw by telling you that someone's on the show.
Genius. Speaking of War Games, let's touch on the men's War Games, because this story... I love you, Solo! Oh, that was so well done. Really interesting week for Bloodline unfoldings. Just keep doing that while I'm talking. On Raw, we got Jimmy and Jay and Sammy walking around trying to recruit a 5th member. They went to Braun. They went to Seth. I'm sure they went to other people. I saw Rey Mysterio in the back for one of them. But we go to Seth. Seth's just had his little confrontation with Bronson Reed. Confronts Adam Pearce, like, I want the match, book the match. You want the match? Fine, I've had enough. Blah.
I want this done. End it now.
I've had enough. And then
end it now does not mean take it into War Games.
Yeah, so building on that, Sammy comes in. Seth, we think you're the 5th man. And Seth's just like,
I think
no.
you're out of your mind.
Yeah, you're out of your mind. Like, no. Like, out of all the people who know Roman Reigns, Seth knows Roman the best. More than Sammy and the shit that he dealt with, more than anything else. And he knows that Roman's just using everyone again to take down Solo. And then once that's done, he's going to send them on their merry little way. Go on, go back to Raw. Jimmy, you can stay because you're the Jannetty of the two. But Jay, Sammy, you can go back to Raw. Jimmy Jannetty. And yeah. So we know that this story panning out currently, that promo that Seth made was I'm never teaming with Roman Reigns again. And then he gets confronted by Solo later on. I'm never teaming with Roman again. He said the next time I'm never going to team with a Roman Reigns wannabe.
And the next time I'm in the ring with Roman Reigns, I'm stomping his head into the mat.
Yeah.
And you're going to try and tell me that they're going to team together in 3 weeks?
It was just that those two interactions were just like, yeah, nah, Seth's done. He doesn't need to lower himself to be involved in this bloodline stuff. And then we move to the spoilers for the next Raw.
No, before that, we got to get SmackDown.
Well, but like...
No, but we get to Raw because of SmackDown. We got to get to SmackDown first.
But the second Raw happened beforehand, which is why they did the thing on SmackDown.
Yeah, but SmackDown then leads into Raw. It's all, it's a time thing.
Yes.
I get it. Where they're still looking for a fifth, and then Sammy goes and talks to LA Knight, and he's like, no thanks. Well, nothing to do with the bloodline.
No.
And then they're like, we're all out of ideas, so you got to make the call. And then they go out to the ring.
Make the call.
Who's the call to? We go out to the ring, they confront each other, and then a fifth person shows up, and it's Bronson Reed. And look, I said this to you offline as well. I am super pumped for Bronson. He looked like a monster.
Oh, he looked inhumane.
He fits really well with this new bloodline in the fact that they are chaotic and they are crazy and they will just do whatever they need to do and they put people through tables.
Samoan, so it just fits.
But he's from Australia and we've very clearly said that he's Australian, so he's not part of the family. But anyway, I think his ring, the way he works in the ring and all that stuff, his look, he really fits.
Can't wait to see that tsunami off the top of the cage through a table.
Great. I mean, he is going to crush Jimmy Uso like a pancake.
Yep. It's got to be Jimmy.
It's got to be Jimmy that's going to cop it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they let him hit a tsunami on Roman.
That just again, elevates him. He's going up.
Like we said earlier with Kyle Fletcher, this is really great for Bronson and elevating him into the main event. And they've said on commentary for a couple of weeks that Bronson Reed is trying to get into the main event. And that's what this feud with Seth was.
Yeah.
And I think Seth putting him over post that feud, saying, yeah, sure, I won, but I'm only walking away. And you got to give full credit to Bronson for those matches because he keeps coming no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Right? They put Bronson over.
Yeah.
I love his interaction in this. I love his inclusion. Him as the fifth person for Solo, chef's kiss, spot on. Don't put Seth on the other side. I don't know they're going to.
Don't. It especially with the Raw spoilers, like it makes so much sense, but it's like, no.
Because the biggest, only way.
Because what Seth said, like it just, you can't have Seth go back on his word like that.
Sorry, that was Seth kicking over Roman because he hates him. The only way that I will accept this storyline to a degree will be if Seth keeps saying no.
Yeah.
If they go to him after the Raw and we spoilers of what happens, that something might cause him to be a bit more invested.
Yeah.
Then the next week you go back to him and say, look, Bronson's here now. He's part of that. You hate Bronson. We need you. Get involved.
Yeah.
And he says,
no.
Not teaming with Roman, not joining the bloodline. Don't care. Me and Bronson have our own beef. We can sort it out elsewhere.
Yep.
And then they keep going and they keep asking him and he keeps saying no. And then on the SmackDown, the 5 of them beat down the 4 of them. And then it gets all the way to War Games and they keep asking him. And even at the start of the show, you can ask Seth and he'll be like, no. I'm not teaming with Roman. And then you get into War Games and it's 5-on-4 and they are getting destroyed. And then it's time for the 5th person to come in. And then, okay, fine, Seth's music hits and he comes out and makes the save.
Yeah.
That I will slightly forgive you for doing that.
Yeah.
But if you next week after Raw, Seth says, fine, Roman, let's go, and they do the shield bump and stuff and they get back together, no, please don't do that. I don't believe it. I won't believe it at all. They're going to do it, right?
I never thought about them doing the shield thing, and now I'm fucking pumped for it, man. Yeah, let's go. Let's go, Seth.
Because you saw Sammy put the picture up on Instagram. right?
No.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Dude,
Did he Photoshop his face on Dean Ambrose?
There's one from years ago where Sammy's in the middle.
Oh, right.
And there's Seth and Roman on either side. And Sammy's like, yeah. It's
I'm pumped for it now.
Look, it's going to happen. I don't know if I
You
want
bring
it to
in
happen.
Shield related things and I'm all of a sudden, I'm done. I'm pumped. Let's go. All right. Also on Raw, Gunther and Damian Priest had a very interesting confrontation, I will say. A couple of interesting confrontations. Just going to leave Jericho down.
Well, he's on your side, so you can sort him out.
Damian Priest comes out, says, yep, for the first time in my career, I was scared to lose to somebody, which was Gunther, which he ended up doing. And he said if Finn had not interfered, Gunther wouldn't be champion, which could have been true. And then keeps going and keeps antagonizing Gunther to the point where he's like, you've now lost your Intercontinental Championship to Sami Zayn, and you've just lost to Cody. Been pinned by Cody. And now, all of a sudden, this unstoppable force, he's worried. And you could see Gunther played this off very, very well. And I absolutely loved seeing the look of concern and trepidation on his face. It worked wonders. That got me invested in this angle immediately. Having Gunther act like that on screen.
Yeah.
We don't get that ever from Gunther.
Well, like that, I think was a good part. I think Ludwig's promo and then him yelling and then Gunther stopping him, also a great little touch to this. That they're kind of seeding some tension and kind of Gunther saying that I don't need you, but then making Ludwig have the match that he does kind of need him. I think that's really good. And like you and I had a chat about, I don't know how much longer Gunther holds this title. I don't think Damien's the guy to take it off him again.
No.
But I have a strong suspicion that come the Netflix era of Raw, Gunther's not what Netflix are going to want. Not in a bad way, but I think that they're going to want, hey, we're Netflix now. Can we have Roman Reigns, please, as a champion? Well, can we have CM Punk as a champion? We have Seth Rollins as the champion. Can The Rock come back and have the champion? John Cena, give it to him. Like
Netflix has asked for all that shit.
100%. But that's the thing. It's like we're paying you $5 billion.
Give us
We want
something.
the biggest thing you can get. And look,
give me John Cena.
But
Give me John Cena.
to wrestling fans like us, Gunther is a fantastic champion. Triple H loves him. He is the ring general. He is one of the best workers we've got. And as a character, he is fantastic.
Yep.
Will he sell Netflix subscriptions and make people click on WWE if you put Gunther there? Probably not.
Probably not.
Will Roman Reigns? Yeah.
Yep.
Will The Rock?
Yep.
Yeah. Will
Punk?
John Cena?
Yep. Cena? Yep.
So whether that's a political decision, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really good promo. I love the way that they're seeding a bit of tension into Gunther and giving him, like you said, a bit of trepidation that you haven't seen from him. It's giving a few more folds to his character.
Yep.
I don't see him, unfortunately, holding the title through to WrestleMania next year.
Yeah.
Someone else is going to have it. I don't know yet who beats him for it, but I don't think it's Damien.
No. And I think we called that earlier in the year. Once Gunther lost that Intercontinental title, we theorized, right, obviously World Heavyweight's his next step. He got there. But I think back then, earlier in the year, we theorized that he would not have... Yeah.
I think we said because he was runner-up on the Rumble. So we think that he might win it this time and then go for the title at WrestleMania.
But we never theorized that he would have a long run like he did with the IC title.
No, absolutely not. And I don't think they need to with this title now. I think that with Gunther having the title for 2 years, Roman having it for 4 years, like you've got these long-term champions. I think you need to have a little bit of a trickle effect of a few different people that can say they were former world heavyweight champions.
And you look at what's happened with the Intercontinental Championship now.
Yep.
We had Sammy, then we had Braun, then Jay, then Braun again.
Yep.
And now we've got Braun versus Sheamus on Raw next week for the IC title.
Oh, we do.
We're going to have another title change. Is Sheamus finally going to climb that mountain?
I haven't seen the spoiler for that, but Sheamus has to win it at some point.
Surely.
He's got to be.
He's got to be a Grand Slam.
Grand Slam champion was the word I couldn't think of.
Yeah.
Same as John Cena. John Cena's got to win the US title, the
IC
title as well.
Oh. Braun versus Sheamus versus Cena.
Could you imagine like the first episode of Raw on Netflix and it's a triple threat? Braun Breaker versus Sheamus versus John Cena for the IC title. There's a
Book it.
66% chance that a new person's going to win the title. Ooh.
I would love that. Speaking of new titles.
Oh,
Here we
Yes.
go.
Yes.
Women's Mid-Card Championship.
finally.
We have a Women's United States Championship on SmackDown. Tournament is currently ongoing.
Yep.
We have our first semi-finalist being Bailey, defeating Candice LeRae and BFAB on SmackDown
And I
this
think
week.
BFAB was the star in that match.
Absolutely. She looked like $1 million.
Some of the moves she was doing were really cool.
Which is like, for us not having seen her wrestle I don't think I've seen her wrestle since NXT.
Oh,
I can't remember
feel like she
anything
might
else.
have been in a mixed tag with Bobby Lashley at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe a 6-man with the Street Profits against Karrion Kross and stuff. Maybe.
But it's good to get her in that position and give her a bit of a showcasing like that, because now you've got someone else in the women's division.
Yeah, agree.
You've got someone for that main title.
Yep.
You've got someone for the women's US title once the tournament's done and dusted with. The other 9 competitors, I should have taken a screenshot, but we've got Chelsea,
Yep.
Naomi, and
No, that's not that match.
sure,
I'm pretty sure Naomi's on the other side of the bracket to what Naomi is.
Chelsea Bianca
Chelsea Bianca. That's
and
correct.
XY.
Chelsea
let's-
Bianca and Blair Davenport.
Yeah, she's not winning. Sorry.
No, she's not.
Maybe they'll give her a bit of a showcasing like they did with
they
BFAB. Because, again, like, Blair Davenport's a really good wrestler. She's not been showcased on TV much as of late. Better opportunity to do that.
Then the other side of the bracket, you got Jay Cargill versus Mi Chin versus Piper Niven.
Yep.
And then Naomi, Tiffany, and Elektra Lopez.
Yep. So,
LA Knight is very heavily flirting with Elektra Lopez, and that was creepy.
yeah, weird.
Look, I think with Bailey winning, she has to face Chelsea.
Yep.
I think Mi Chin wins on the other side over Jade and Piper, and probably Naomi. And then you get Mi Chin and Chelsea in the final as a rematch for their dumpster match. And our girl, Chelsea Green, goddamn better be the first women's US title.
Oh,
And
she better be.
I swear to goodness, Triple H.
I've got Chelsea and Naomi in the final, but Chelsea, Nate, and me. It's
gotta be Chelsea. It's gotta be Chelsea.
She's got to win. She's so, we said it the other week. She is the workhorse. She knows how to get people going behind her. She can get people on her side. She can get people going against her because she's a heel. But she's just entertaining in all aspects.
Yep.
She deserves this accolade.
Absolutely. she does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just
And I think
no conversations.
even
Chelsea's
if she
it.
wins it, she's the first. She's the inaugural, and she's the first.
She can lose it 3 weeks later.
100%.
Don't care.
Drop it on the next pay-per-view. Drop it at the Royal Rumble. Don't care how you do it. She won it first.
Yeah.
That's all I want to see from this.
all we need.
It's got to be
That's
Chelsea.
all we need. Speaking of United States, we'll move to the men's United States Championship.
Oh, where LA Knight was being really creepy to Legado
Yep.
Fantasma.
And then, thank God it wasn't Santos Escobar again answering that open challenge.
Well,
like,
it
we've-
kind of
we-
was.
I mean, yeah, kinda. But this little goofball was like staring a hole down at
He
LA
can call
Knight.
me daddy, and you can call me uncle. She can call me whatever, anytime. Come on, LA Knight. Jeez.
But as long as everybody's saying LA Knight,
Do you see why I don't like him? Like, he's such a
it's a
corny
bit
shit
it's a bit
character
unhinged
sometimes.
sometimes.
And the BFT sucks.
You just gotta have the right person to sell it, but not everyone can sell it.
And Umberto is not the right person to sell it.
No, I didn't even see him hit the PFT. But LA Knight retains because, of course, he does. It's Berto, so he was never winning. He put on a good showing. That's fine. Shinsuke Nakamura has finally returned.
Yeah, the waves in California must have slowed down a little bit, so he
Yeah.
stopped surfing and he decided, I better go back to work.
Yeah, better do some work. It looks really good. I like his outfit.
The face makeup, the red across the eyes.
Oh, fuck, I didn't even
You didn't
notice
even see
man.
that?
No, I didn't. I was wondering why you're like, oh, he looks so cool. I was like, yeah, it's a cool outfit.
Yeah, no,
Obviously because I didn't see the face paint and shit.
he has like the red like stripes across his eyes.
Oh, so he's Sting now.
You think everyone's Sting? It's like, oh, Darby Allin's Sting now.
It's because he keeps doing the Sting face mask thing. It's
Well,
lame.
it was Mi Chin Sting because she was up backstage with a baseball bat for Chelsea
It's
Green.
fucking kendo stick, you idiot.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it looked like a baseball bat for me. I don't care.
All right, closing comments. We've got 2 more things to talk about that we haven't yet. WWE ID.
This is a controversial topic to talk
This
about.
is because if you've not done your research and don't understand what the whole play is here, WWE ID is partnership with independent development. That's what the ID stands for, right?
Sure. Independent. Yeah.
Yeah. And essentially what this is they're going to put everyone on a roster and they can keep doing their stuff on the indies. That's fine.
It's only certain indies too. So it's like
Yeah.
Seth Rollins is one, Cody's one, Booker T's one, and a few of the other ones they've already had partnerships with.
Yeah. And then a couple like all those people that got named, are they part of those?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Well,
As far as I'm aware. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like Jack Cartwheel.
Yeah. Who's the only person I know the name of.
Yeah.
That's because he was on the World Series Wrestling Tour this year.
Correct. Yeah. There's a few other people that obviously people will know.
I've seen people talking about the other people. I haven't exposed myself to their work yet.
That they've come out and like someone from WWE has shown up at the whatever show on a Friday night in Louisville, Kentucky, and that person's just won their main event match, and someone from WWE walks out and hands them a contract in the independent show. So like that's how they've done it for a few of them where they've been named as WWE IDs, is they've been handed the contract at the show.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I think
I hadn't seen that.
That's cool because it kind of makes those shows feel bigger.
Yeah,
and you're
absolutely.
pumping up that independent show because like, you know, for our perspective, you know, we love the Tuckman, right? Wearing a Tuckman shirt. Let's just say that PWA was part of the program. You go to the next PWA show and then maybe Grayson Waller and, you know, WWE show up and give Tuckman a contract.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
It really breeds that excitement for people attending independent wrestling now.
Yes.
And that's something that we've talked about. Australian independent wrestling at the moment, it's fun. It's entertaining. You might see the next Rhea Ripley or Zarya or Grayson Waller. Or
Bronson Reed.
Like, go to these independent shows. You might see the next future star.
And I mean, UK wise, you might see the next Pete Dunne, Will Ospreay, etc.
Exactly. Like just go.
Barrett.
Have fun. Like we did with Lucha Fantastica today.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I don't remember who any of them were, though. They're all wearing Lucha masks, and I didn't remember the names.
Oh, I mean, like, we might, without their masks.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. We might know who some of them were without the masks, but I see some familiar body
physiques.
shapes there. Yeah, physiques.
One of the wrestlers definitely wanted silence and couldn't get it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, which was sad. I think the controversial part
Yeah, let's get on the controversial
to this
part of this.
WWID thing, and this is what a lot of people, and especially like if you follow the What Culture and the Wrestle Talk guys and stuff from the UK, they have very strong opinions on this because of what happened with like Defiant and What Culture Pro Wrestling. Their independent. I'm struggling for words right now. They're
Promotion?
they're promotions. They're promotions. They had independent promotions. When WWE created NXT UK, that was meant to be a growing or proving ground for people in the UK, but pretty much all it did was take everyone off the UK indies.
Yeah.
And so those indies fell to the ground because all the good people got sucked into WWE. And so the fear with this WWID thing is that the second that, you know, Booker T's school finds the next Seth Rollins and he gets pretty good and he's like their champion and they're like, all right, let's book the next 12 months of independent shows that we're going to have around this guy and the storylines, WWE's like, nope, yuck, he's ours.
Yeah.
And that's the worry, right?
Yeah. And then also one of the major clauses about this whole thing is with those independents that are under WWE ID, if anyone gets scouted by AEW, Ring of Honor, TNA, whatever, other independent promotions, WWE can either go, yep, sign contract, here you go, off to NXT, down to Florida, or they can just go, nah. So, like I said off air, it's got that monopoly on
gives
the
them
independent.
first dibs on everybody. So that's, look, from a WWE business perspective, that's great.
Yeah.
Right? They get the first choice of all the talent.
Boom,
that's
done.
fine. The problem you're going to have is if they use that, like you said, as a monopoly, and there's a independent wrestler out there and she's really good and, you know, killing it in Cody's Nightmare Factory, whatever stuff.
Yeah.
And they're ready to go. And AEW is like, you know what? We really want this woman's wrestler because she's going to be really great for us. And WWE is like, nah, you can't have her.
Yeah.
So
and then they bring her to NXT and they do nothing.
And they
with
never use her. 100%.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I really don't want that to happen.
And that's the thing that could be the issue is that these independent wrestlers have such, you know, career growth because they're on the indies.
Yeah.
They get to, like, you see the Aussie guys, we know how well they do it. They will wrestle 7, 8, 9 times a month. Friday night, Saturday night. Speedball Mike Bailey is probably the greatest example around WrestleMania week. I think he wrestled 8 times that week.
Yeah, dude was
right? So those that want to grow and want to learn on the indies, that have all these opportunities to have all these matches and stuff, sure, it's probably to get signed by a big company eventually and get onto the main rosters of TV.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. But if this ID program essentially just snatches them away from that and then holds them from other companies and never uses them, that's the issue.
The problem.
But if it is getting them, like Azaria or like Delta, and putting them straight into NXT and then getting them ready for TV and putting them on and then pushing them, great. That's what we want to see.
Go for it.
It's how does this play out in terms of bringing up the indies? It needs to promote the indies, make them stronger, rather than take all the good talent from them to leave them weaker. Because that's what happened in the UK. That's what NXT UK did. And when that NXT UK fumbled, obviously with the pandemic, it had already crushed the local scene. And Rev Pro and things like that now, years later, are now catching back up to where they were because of what happened.
Yeah. Definitely going to be intriguing to see how all that unfolds.
Yes.
Final thing to talk about. You mentioned offline, and I told you to not spoil for it. Madison Square Garden, Saturday night main event.
We can't finish on this.
Why not?
Because it's not that exciting.
Oh, should have brought it up earlier. That's the last thing we have to talk about.
Okay, well, no, there's one other thing we forgot to talk about. Two other things we forgot to talk about.
Not on my list. Oh, KO and Cody.
Well, we've got 5 minutes, right? Let's rattle out a couple of things really quickly. The Madison Square Garden thing. So there was a lot of talk that WWE weren't going to do the holiday tour and they weren't going to do the Madison Square Garden show.
So not Saturday night main event.
Right? Yeah. They are doing the Madison Square Garden show on Boxing Day. And the main event for that has already been announced as a steel cage match. Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed.
Oh.
So we know this is continuing through War Games, right?
Okay. Yep.
Sadly. Right. The other thing that I've heard, I can't remember the dates, but there was a lot of online stuff about this because of obviously the fact that they pre-taped Raw for next week because they're doing a European tour. Come December, they're pre-taping 2 weeks of TV from each show.
Oh.
So SmackDown will be on the 13th, I think, and they'll tape the 20th of SmackDown, the 20th. Or maybe it's whatever, the 16th to the 20th or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then the Raw will tape the 18th and then the 24th, whatever it will be. So that way the wrestlers can get, a full week and a half off over Christmas.
Yeah.
Good. Give them time off. They bloody well deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, spoilers galore.
Absolutely. And I think it was Ryback who tweeted about it and was like, it's really good that they're finally giving wrestlers time off. They need time with their families and stuff. And that was like the first half of his tweet. And you're like, yeah, Ryback, good job. Thanks, man. And then he was like, but all you stupid marks on the internet, if you want to read the spoilers, it's your own fault for being stupid marks. Don't do it, blah, blah, blah.
I don't want to. Shit just shows up on my feed because I have to talk about wrestling because I do a podcast.
Yeah. So come December, we're going to get some spoilers.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's fine that they get Christmas time off. I think that's good for them too.
Yeah.
Because
chuff for that.
Back when you look at 15, 20 years ago when John Cena was wrestling 320 days of a year,
that's a lot.
It's not fair.
That's a lot.
Give them the time off.
Yeah.
The two stories that we didn't touch on quickly was one, the return possibly, and the in-ring clearance of Wade Barrett.
Oh, Wade Barrett. He's coming back. I don't think, from what I saw, it wasn't he's going to be wrestling full-time.
He's going to have a match.
Program with Drew McIntyre, I saw, which I'm fucking all for, man. Yes. I'm pumped for that.
But I think they need to do that because you can't go back into Drew and Punk.
No.
They have to be separated. I think Drew needs to have something happen to, tide him over and to verse someone. And I think giving him a short term over the thing until the Royal Rumble rolls around feud with Barrett, great idea.
Genius.
Great idea. Plus, I miss the bullhammer.
Such a good finisher. Finisher.
And then the last one for us to finish on was, I think it was in a College Game Day a week or two ago.
Yes.
In Georgia. Everybody's favourite Goldberg was on College Game Day with Pat McAfee and said that next year he will have a retirement match.
We thought he was already retired.
Who's it against?
I'd say it should probably be in Saudi because they'll pay him the most money and he'll be happy.
Look,
who do I want it to be against? I don't even know.
I know who mine is.
The first thing that pops to mind is Braun.
Correct. It's Braun Breaker.
Because Battle of the Spears.
Correct. And he hands over the spear. Goldberg puts him over, gives him the spear. Yours is better. I'm out.
I got nothing else, man.
That is the only thing that I can see. I know Goldberg.
Why?
Undertaker had said on his podcast a few times that he wanted to see if he could get back to have that match again with Goldberg to repair what was done, because it was his worst match of his career and he knows it.
Yeah.
And they both think they could have done better if they weren't concussed. I just don't know if I want to see the two 60-year-old dudes have that match.
No, thanks.
So if Goldberg's going to have a program, I mean, we all got pretty excited when he confronted Gunther.
No, we did, didn't we?
Like, that would be fun. Could you see Goldberg face Gunther and take the title off of him?
No, not the title. Not for the title. No.
Could you?
No. No.
Maybe there's a nostalgic guy at Netflix
No.
that really loved WCW from the
No.
90s and was like, you know who'd be really great with that title? Because it is the World Heavyweight. It's the big gold.
Oh,
Great around
no.
Goldberg one more time. Look, just putting it out.
What a terrible way to finish off the episode.
Is it though?
You ruined it.
Is it?
You ruined it.
It's going to be
Braun
Braun Breaker.
Goldberg.
It's going to be
Beat Gunther. Jesus. We didn't even get time to talk about KO and Cody, man. Like, I don't think there was much this week that really progressed on that front, but pile driver, oh my God. He can't do a pile driver. It's a band. That was the safest pile driver I've seen in my life.
I'm sure there's somebody out there, and if anyone in the comments wants to let us know or anyone wants to tweet us about it, surely there's a thread on Reddit that has a count of how many pile drivers have been used in AEW that have been kicked out at 2 since WWE put 1 on TV, and I'm sure it's like 36.
Probably.
I'm sure there have been, like on Rampage and Collision, there's probably been 13 different pile drivers in each different match since WWE's like, oh my God, it's nearly killed Randy Orton, never use a pile driver. And AEW's like, sure, let's just do it on the steps.
But yet we see Canadian destroyers, which are essentially a flipping pile driver.
To destroyer, it's not a pile driver.
It's a flipping.
It's two different things.
It's a fucking flipping pile driver, bro. Flipping pile driver.
Well, I mean, look, you
it's a
look
flipping pile driver, but it's got a fancy name.
Look at what the DDT used to be with Jake the Snake. It was a finish. It was protected. He was the only person that ever used it.
Now it's just a move.
You dropped him on your head. It was done, right?
It's just a move.
And that's what AEW's done to it. It's just a pile driver is a pile driver. How many times have we seen a jumping, spinning tombstone from Fletcher or Takeshita? And it's 1, 2, ooh, kick out. Defeats the purpose of the move.
He's got to do a tombstone off the top of the cage.
Into a tsunami from Bronson Reed. Just calling it. Call your shots.
We just called the finish of the War Games match. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then the music finishes and Goldberg walks back out in the Survivor Series.
Goldberg.
Goldberg. I don't know how his music goes. I just
All right, we're going to wrap it up there. It's been a pretty good week and a half, 2 weeks into the world of professional wrestling. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your love and support, and Dan appreciates you voting his top 5 women's wrestlers.
I do. It's because I'm better than Reece.
I cop this all the time, man. All those tier
true.
lists and all those like rank the theme, rank the wrestlers finish and all this stuff. And Dan's always like, you don't know how to rank anything. Mine's better than yours. I cop it all the time, man. I don't know why I still do this.
Neither do I.
Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. He has been Mr. Dan Danielson. He made a miraculous recovery and took over from Penta XL Miedo to XL. I screwed it up again. I've been Rowdy Roddy Reece. We have been in Madison Square Garage, down under the mat. We will catch you next week. Thank you for tuning in.